for deliverance, man. That's right. Because Lord knows. Lord knows.
Hey, you can see.
Yo, that was so wicked, bro. I've been doing the Oh man.
Yes, Pastor.
Preach, Pastor. Oh, that's funny. Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless you all. We're going to start in about a minute or two. About 2 minutes. Yo, bro. Bro.
I'm good, guy.
I'm good. Shalom, 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 shalom. Good morning to you. All right, let's rise and face Jerusalem. Let's get started. Sisters, cover your heads. Brothers, uncover your heads. We're gonna send a prayer to the Most High God. Oh, Heavenly Father, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, creator of the universe, dear Lord. Father God, we humbly come before thee, dear Lord, asking for your mercy, for your forgiveness of our sins, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we ask for the mercy and forgiveness of the sins of our forefathers, dear Lord, for we born their iniquity. Dear Lord, for we are worse than they were in that day, Father God. So we pray for strength. We pray for increased faith, dear Lord. We pray for mercy, Father God, and peace while in this captivity, dear Lord. We suffer the judgments, Father God, but we pray, dear Lord, you extend our mercy, dear Lord. Father God, we pray for the sick among us. We pray for those with child, Father God. Bless them, Father God. Heal them up swiftly and speedily. We pray that you bless marriages, Father God. Heal up those families, dear Lord. Bless those broken bonds between brothers and sisters, Father God. Strengthen us to become one in thy Son Christ's Spirit, Father God. We ask you to guide us and protect us while in this captivity, dear Lord, and we may glorify thee in all things. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right. All right. I gotta stop saying that. Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Most High in Christ bless. I'm Captain Shemiah. Officer Yuri. Shalom. Brother missed his cue, man. What's wrong with this brother?
You just say with me.
Oh, yeah. So you said I messed up.
No, sir.
Oh, okay.
That's my cue.
Yeah, I messed up. Hey, how's everybody doing, man? Most High in Christ bless y'all. Everybody all right? Good morning. Hey, you need a sound bite, like an old school rap group. Good morning. Good morning. Good. Sorry. I'm sorry. I got a little more sleep yesterday. I got about 5 hours sleep yesterday. 4.5 hours sleep. So you see, my energy level is a little bit higher today. I got about almost 5 hours of sleep. Woo! Man, working on 2 wasn't working. Lord's will, I get some sleep today. Lord's will. Lord's will. Lord's will. If not, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. As some of you may see by the title of the class, y'all might think I'm going to go into this. The title of the class is Sodomites and Egyptians. You might think I'm going to go into the Sodom mindset in this place or Egyptology, so on and so forth. I won't be doing neither. It won't be either one. So as the class goes on, Lord's will, you'll get the gist of the class that we can better ourselves. I was trying to get together a class that Captain Zakar. I made a post. I made a post maybe like a month ago on Facebook, and I had said, when you come into the body, get a welcome home package. I said some of you don't need a welcome home package; you need a watch from home package. So the captains and we joke around about that, and Captain Zakar said you should do a class on that. So I was gonna do it, but I guess that extra couple hours of sleep was was too good. I couldn't get it done. I fell asleep at the desk. Woke up like, where am I? Let me go lay down. So Lord's will, on Monday, I'll try to get that done. But today's class, Sodomites and Egyptians. Like I said, as we go on, you'll see the gist of the class. Revelation 11 and 8. Lord's will, there's a brother online that can scribe, and Lord's will. But I pray everybody's well. I'm sure we'll have our regular scoffers on here, our regular reprobates. But in any event, the Most High's word gonna go out. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually, spiritually,
okay, so it's not the actual. Go ahead.
Is called Sodom and Egypt.
Spiritually, it's called Sodom and Egypt. So anytime you hear Sodom or you hear about Sodom, our minds automatically think of homosexuality, bestiality, the sexual deviances of Sodom. But it's a lot more to it than that, because the Bible says that there's a place that is spiritually called Sodom. Spiritually, it's not the actuality, but it has all the attributes of the Sodom of old, which was worthy of destruction. Okay, so I hope you all understand that. Sodom was worthy of destruction, yes, for its sexual deviances, but there were other things that Sodom was guilty of. Okay, so read that one more time.
Revelations chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 49. Ezekiel 16, verse 49.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49.
Come on.
Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom.
Wait a minute. So it's going to go into detail about the sins of Sodom, right? Go ahead.
Pride, fullness of bread, an abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy.
Okay. So that's a few attributes that it says these are the iniquities of Sodom. Read it from the top again.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride.
Okay, so one of those iniquities is pride, right? So let's go to Proverbs 16 and 18. We're going to come back here. Proverbs 16 and 18.
Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction.
So now, this is very important. One of the reasons Sodom was destroyed was because of the people that occupied Sodom's pride. Pride. They felt that their way was the only way. Their way was better than Most High's way. Their way, they had all supreme knowledge, understanding, so on and so forth. Therefore, they can do whatever they wanted to. But read that again.
Proverbs 16, verse 18.
Come on.
Pride goeth before destruction.
Pride goes before destruction. So let's go back to Ezekiel 16. Give me 1 second.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread.
So now, pride was one of the main issues, other than the sexual deviances, that Sodom is guilty of. The other is what?
Fullness of bread.
So fullness of bread is another reason. So let's go to Proverbs 30 and 8. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 8 and 9.
Proverbs chapter 30, verse 8. Remove far from me vanity and lies.
So remove from us vanity and lies. Those things that are unprofitable and the things that actually go against the Most High's commandments. Go ahead.
Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full.
Unless you be what?
Lest I be full and deny thee.
So now, one of the reasons for another reason for Sodom's destruction was that Sodom, was a wealthy city. Sodom wasn't a rundown poor pit. Yes, they had the poor among them, but Sodom had fullness of bread, meaning not only did they have financial might, they had influential might, so on and so forth, right? So this is one of the reasons why Sodom was worthy to be destroyed. So go back to Ezekiel 16 again. We might touch back on that Proverbs.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread.
Now, Sodom had pride. Sodom had everything they wanted. So now when you start going back to Genesis, when they wanted to ram the angels, it starts to make sense now. Wait a minute. It was homeless. It was the evil sexual deviances going on in Sodom. But at the same time, it's a certain level of pride that you can tell Lot, listen, go back in the house. Otherwise, we're going to do worse with you than we're going to do to these angels. That's a level of pride. Like, wait a minute. Something has got to give. Then you have to, because you have to have a certain level of influence for not only to be one man that was trying to do this, but a multitude of men were trying to do this. So it shows that the influence that those in Sodom had was the spirit was spreading. That spirit was spreading. These are the iniquities that Sodom has committed that the Lord has deemed worthy of destruction. I hope y'all understand that. Go ahead.
An abundance of idleness.
So now, pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness. Let's go to Sirach 33:27. Sirach 33:27.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 27.
Come on.
Send him to labor, that he be not idle.
Why?
For idleness teacheth much evil.
Now, again, Ezekiel 16 gives a really descriptive breakdown of the sins and the iniquities of Sodom. Okay? Sodom was a place laden with sin on different levels. And now, what I want you to remember is when we read Revelation chapter 11, Revelation 11 said there's a place that is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Meaning it has the same attributes as Sodom of old, the exact same attributes. So I want the wheels to start turning. I want your wheels to start turning. I want to make sure y'all start thinking. Because who is more prideful of all the nations we have today? I want you to think about it. Who is more prideful in all the nations we have today? Is Kuwait saying no one can mess with them? Is Kuwait putting embargoes on people, saying that you can't have nuclear weapons, but we can? I can come into your country and set up an embassy. So that's a level of pride for you to go into another man's house and set up shop. I want y'all to really think about this. Yes, one of the reasons why this place is compared to Sodom is because, yes, of sexual deviances. But what I want y'all to see is it's not just the sexual deviances. It's the pride. Another one of the iniquities was the fullness of bread. Who has more than this place? People borrow money from this place. It's the idleness. The idleness is the only thing that they don't want to work on building up the people here. They sit idly and all they work on is devising evil upon their beds. That's it. They sit back idly and just plot on the children of Israel day in, day out. That's it. Because as long as they overcome the children of Israel, their rulership will continue. So the longer we take to come out of sins is the longer they will rule. Period. Read that one more time.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 27. Send him to labor, that he be not idle. For idleness teacheth much evil.
So idleness teaches much evil. So what do? They devise iniquity, or they devise evil upon their beds. This is what they do, right? Back to Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness.
And abundance of idleness
was in her and in her daughters.
And in her daughters, all those that follow the ways of Sodom. Go ahead.
Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy.
So now, that's a part of the idleness. The part of the idleness is they're not doing anything to strengthen the hand of the poor in spirit, or the needy. They're not doing that. They're not doing that because as the abundance of spiritual Sodom has, why are there so many homeless? Why are there so many trodden down? Why are there so... They're not doing that kind of work. They're idle when it comes to that area. They're doing work with everything else. But when it comes to that area, it's a whole different ballgame. So let's see. Sirach 34 and 21.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 34, verse 21.
Come on.
The bread of the needy is their life.
So now, it say they don't strengthen the hands of the needy, right? You all right, bro?
This class is just on fire right now. I'm sorry.
The bread of the needy is their life. But we just read in Ezekiel 16 that Sodom, spiritual Sodom, real Sodom, and also spiritual Sodom would follow that same attribute by not strengthening the hand of the needy. The reason they don't strengthen the hand of the needy is because the bread of the needy is their life. So wait a minute. You're telling me you're in the land of abundance, but you damn near dead? This is why a coon makes my skin itch. Because a lot of times, once you feel you have a little bit in this captivity, in this portion of your life, you feel like you overcome and surpass, and there's no curse on you at all. But wait a minute. If you really, really adhere to the Bible, you would know that everything is being described about Sodom of old is in a particular place today, which the Bible calls spiritual Sodom. That's undeniable. But a king coon will sit here and say, I don't see that. I don't see it. Because at the end of the day, this place has not strengthened the hand of the needy at all. And for that, it's going to reap the same judgment as Sodom of old. I hope y'all understand that. So those of you who want to join affinity with this place, those of you who want to be hand in hand with this place, saying we'll all God bless America, so on and so forth. When you hear that term, God bless America, that means to hell with everybody else. That's showing you the spirit of Sodom. Sodom said it's all about us. They could give the 5 cities could give a daggone about anybody else.
They say God bless the world.
Yeah, you never heard God bless the world. How we looking for peace on earth? But I ain't never heard God bless the world. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm secluded in my little bubble. That maybe it's been said and I've never heard it. I could be wrong. I'm entitled to be wrong.
Not because Trump last campaign was America first.
Fine. And everybody else get the anus. I'm sorry. Read that again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 34, verse 21.
Come on.
The bread of the needy is their life.
So the bread of the needy is their life. The things that you need, a house to cover your shame, food and raiment. Those are the things that are necessary in life, and water. Those are the things that are necessary in life. But guess what? This place will say, we have I never forget, there was a senator. He was trying to overturn, what do you call that? Food stamps, right? Because he said there are too many blacks on food stamps and it's affecting his salary. He says he can barely survive on his salary. So inquiring minds found out how much his salary is. He made $400,000 a year as a senator. He said he can barely survive because of how much money is being pulled out of the system to go into food stamps. Now, you can look this up on your own. The highest recipients of food stamps are actually Edomites. It's not Jake. And what they've done is they've put Jake as the forefront or the poster children for food stamps, for governmental assistance, so on and so forth. But they're not the highest recipients. So this Edomite goes on TV saying how he can barely survive on his $400,000 a year salary. Are you kidding me? Read that again.
Sirach chapter 34, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
The bread of the needy is their life.
Mm-hmm.
He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood.
So he that defraudeth the needy of their bare necessities says he's a man of blood. He's a bloodshedder. Real quick, let's go to Habakkuk 2. Is it Habakkuk? I want Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk. Yeah, Habakkuk. Verse 12.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
Hold that. Go back to Sirach.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 34, verse 21. The bread of the needy is their life.
Mm-hmm.
He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood.
Go back to Habakkuk 2.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
So now, this place was built by physical killing and also the depriving of those who are here or those who doing the labor of their bare necessities. The depriving of them deems you to be a bloodshedder as well. Not only just really killing with the sword, but denying them basic necessities like a roof over their head, food to eat, raiment, so on and so forth. That's how this place was built. It wasn't just built off of killing everybody. Obviously not, because we still built it. But it's the depriving of the bare necessities deems them to be bloodshedders as well. Read that again.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
So the blood of depriving and the actual blood of killing, go ahead.
And establisheth a city by iniquities.
Wait a minute. But we're reading about the iniquities of Sodom. And all of the attributes that was in Sodom were iniquity. Man, listen, I don't know how anybody could not love this word, man. I don't know. You have got to be a daggone, what does Captain Shem say? Cuckoo for Cocoa. No, that's Deacon Lava. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You have got to be out your mind, or spending too much time listening to those lying pastors that don't know the word of God. Let's go back. Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom, pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor in need.
So now we see that this place does not strengthen the hands of the poor or the needy. Go ahead.
And they were haughty.
And they were what?
Haughty.
Okay. Hold that. Proverbs 18 and 12. So I want you to see the spirit that's in actual Sodom. And then you start asking yourself, what place on the planet that's called spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt, do these attributes fit? I know this does not fit Cambodia. It does not. Saudi Arabia. It doesn't fit Saudi Arabia. I don't know what you smoking on. It does not fit Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia does not have the attributes of spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. No. Excuse me, actual Sodom or actual Egypt. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because I don't see anybody that Saudi Arabia has influence over. I don't see any of y'all here dressing up like Saudi Arabians. Instead of buying a Toyota Camry, you trying to buy a damn Camel. No, I don't see that. The influence is not there. But you have people in Saudi Arabia, the women who wear the hijab and whatever the whole garment is called, they taking that off and putting on tight jeans now. They're over there talking about dating now, so on and so forth. Nah, this place has the influence. Not over there. It's not the other way around. So I don't know where y'all got that breakdown from. Y'all better put it back in whatever vault you broke it out of. And let me tell you something too. A lot of times, some of you may think that some of these breakdowns that some of these camps have came from some kind of divine revelation. I went to sleep and God told me that Esau is the East Saudi Arabians without any scriptural referencing. A lot of times it's Esau planting these damn demonic breakdowns in these brothers' heads, man. Because you're so weak in the faith, soon as somebody will post in the comment, and then you start being like, you at home acting like you a strong brother in the truth. You at home wavering his hand like, yeah, what that scoffer said in the group makes a lot of sense. Or they take payoff. Listen, I need you to start breaking this down like that. Okay. Or just like the way Esau dismantled, just like they did with the Black Panthers. They get somebody on a charge. Listen, in order for you to beat this charge, I need you to do this. This is why we at Israelite in Christ, we push the commandments of God. Period. Listen, if you stay out of sin, keeping the commandments, you don't have to worry about Esau's laws. You don't have to worry about Esau's laws. I hope y'all understand that. But when you're in wickedness, Most High, Paul told us that Esau does not bear the sword in vain. He doesn't have these policies in place, weaponry, so on and so forth, for show. He's not a show off. Esau is a man of war. He's a man of action, believe it or not. He's a man of action. And with that action comes with oppressing the children of Israel. He's about that business. He is about that business. So, where you at, Proverbs? Yes, sir. Go ahead, read it.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty.
Before what?
Is haughty.
But we just read in Ezekiel 6. Go back to Ezekiel 16. Read verse 50 again.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 50. And they were haughty.
They were what?
Haughty.
They were what?
Haughty.
Go back to Proverbs 18.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12.
Come on.
Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty.
Dang. So what are we reading? We're reading that all of these attributes were deemed Sodom worthy of destruction. Oh, read that.
Haughty, arrogantly superior, and disdainful.
Give me some synonyms.
Proud, arrogant, vain.
Hold on. I'm not sure I understand that, Ali. Okay, read that again.
Haughty, proud, arrogant, vain, conceited, snobbish, superior, self-important, pompous, condescending, supercilious.
So now, what the spirit that was in Sodom was that it didn't matter. So remember, Lot told those men of Sodom, do not this wicked thing. They said, we don't give a daggone about God's laws. We don't care, because remember, the laws are in place primarily for the children of Israel, but the world was to be governed by God's laws. Okay, I'm going to say this again. The world was to be governed by God's laws. When you read Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44, the servants we had, 44 down, the servants we had were supposed to adhere to God's laws, so on and so forth. And in the kingdom, everyone is going to adhere to God's laws. So when Lot told them, don't do this evil thing, they said, what? We're going to do what we want to do. Meaning because it was about them. Most High was not in that place at all. I hope y'all understand that. Go back, Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 50. And they were haughty and committed abomination.
Real quick. Give me Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Read Proverbs 18 again, and Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility.
So, before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
So because the Lord doesn't always bring judgment upon a place or people immediately, go ahead.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
You see that? So because the Lord didn't bring judgment swiftly upon Sodom, for years they went on doing their wickedness, the Lord's anger became more full each time. They grew arrogant. They grew confident in their wickedness because he didn't bring it immediately. But know for a certainty, if you don't know anything else, know for a certainty somebody has got to pay. Might be today, might be tomorrow. When Moses was in the wilderness thousands of years ago, he told the children of Israel, listen, in Deuteronomy 30, he said, listen, choose. He said, I set before you life and death. Therefore, choose ye. I want to read that real quick. I want to read that real quick. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19.
Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
So now, it's so funny how Moses says, I showed you two options. I showed you two ways. I showed you life and death. Therefore, real quick, give me 2 Ezra 14. Therefore, choose life. Why would Moses tell them or encourage them, listen, if you know what I know, choose life? Why would Moses even tell them that? Verse 3.
2 Ezra chapter 14, verse 3. Then said he unto me, in the bush, I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talked with him when my people served in Egypt. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the Mount of Sinai, where I held him by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times.
Showed him what?
The secrets of the times and the end.
And the end. So he showed Moses what was going to happen, the things that were to come afar off, and the destruction of the kingdoms. Go ahead.
And commanded him, saying, these words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide.
So when Moses told the children of Israel, listen, I've set before you life and death. Therefore, it would behoove you, trust me, believe what I'm saying, choose life. Choose to keep the commandments of God. It would behoove you. Listen, Moses is like, listen, he did everything. He was like, I can see it right now. Moses is like, bruh, if you know what I know, see what I saw, you want to keep the commandments. The same thing. So what happened is, in Sodom, even though the warning went out, listen, Lot was like, listen, don't do this evil. They were like, what? We're going to do what we want to do. So read that again, Ecclesiastes 8.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
So because when we were in the wilderness, as Moses is telling us this, we're like, didn't happen yet. Moses, I think you're a false prophet. Moses, I think you made that up. I think you're going off your own understanding now, Moses. So because the sentence is not executed swiftly, speedily, both in Sodom and when we're in the wilderness, go ahead.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
See that? That's why Sodom got worse and worse and worse and worse. Real quick, go back to Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 50. And they were haughty and committed abomination before me. Therefore, I took them away.
Wait. Go back a little bit.
And committed abomination before me.
Hold on. So what they did was, all of those attributes, and then what happened is, over time, it became worse and worse and worse. Now they're committing abominations, going to the sexual deviances, going to idolatry, so on and so forth. All the abominations, right? Proverbs 15 and 9.
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 9. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord.
Read that again.
The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord.
So now, The Lord says all of those attributes that were committed, being done in Sodom, were ways of the wicked, and all of these ways are abomination of the Lord, meaning they're not of God. They're not of God at all. So these are abominations unto the Lord. Idolatry, abomination to the Lord. Homosexuality, the reversing of the household, the women's apparel, so on and so forth. These things are abominable to the Lord. The defiled foods. The Lord said, listen, don't eat that. Don't do that. Don't wear that. And these men in Sodom were like, yo, listen, where, like it says, where is God? When is his coming? They mocked the Lord. They mocked the Lord. Let's see how far that gets them. So, real quick. So where are we going with this? Oftentimes, we don't realize that some of those abominations in Egypt, those evils that we commit, we still do them today. We have the spirit of the other nations on us. Because you're in Babylon the Great, which means confusion. So you're in the land of confusion. You've been dwelling here 20, 30, 40, 50 years, learning the ways of the land of confusion, and you're going to be right? That doesn't make sense. If you've been in the land, learning the ways of the land, most likely that's going to be your forthcoming tale about you. That's what it's going to be. But this is why we have to bring out all the attributes. Because we'll say things like our country, what else? Along those lines. None of this is yours. It's the land of your captivity. This ain't yours. You didn't come. Listen, you think because your parents came over here on a plane or on a cruise line. Yeah, okay. You start feeling like this place is yours, but you have to own up to the attributes that this place has and that it's worthy of destruction. Hope you understand that. So, real quick, today, a part of that worship is, or methodology we follow is woman worship and men worship. The other day, it was Mother's Day, right? So it's showing that these are things that was also going on in Sodom, also going on in the world where women were being worshipped. Now, some of you may say, I never bowed down to a woman deity. You think I'm going to just leave it right there? I know you didn't bow down to a woman deity, but you might as well have. If you're a whoremonger, guess what? You might as well bow down to a woman deity because you worship the woman. Vice versa. Let's say for me, switch over to Egypt. In Egypt, they worshipped the obelisk, which is the phallus, which was, and it's right now in Washington, D.C. It's all over the place. And when you look up phallus, Phallus, when you look that up, it's actually the statue of the male extremity. And some of you sisters actually worship that. The reason you worship that is because oftentimes you want that part of the man, but you don't want the man to rule over you. So guess what kind of spirit you have? You have the spirit of Sodom on you. You have the spirit of Egypt on you. So I hope you understand that. Let's continue. To finish our Sodom, 2 Peter 2 and 6.
Second Peter chapter 2, verse 6. Mm-hmm. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after shall live ungodly.
So what did we do? We read the attributes of Sodom, right? But what we just read is those things are ungodly. The pride, the haughty, the fullness of bread, the not strengthening the hand of the poor and the needy. Because guess what? Some of us will have our own business doing very well, whether it be consulting, whether it be a storefront, whether it be a tech company. And you'll say, okay, I know there's some Israelites in here that's tech savvy, that knows the job, or you have the ability to train them, but you say, nah, I'm going to go and get one of these preppy Edomites because they're going to give my company a certain look. A certain look. Okay. And actually, the phallus doesn't represent resurrection. The phallus represents reproduction, not resurrection. So read that again. I lost my thought.
2 Peter chapter 2, verse 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes.
So it turned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes. Go ahead.
Condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after shall live ungodly.
Because how is that, like I mentioned about you have the ability to employ your brothers, your sisters. How is that living ungodly? Because if you know they're in need and you have the means to help, you are not loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And that is ungodly. That is ungodly. By all means, still prove them, make sure they got the right mind. You don't want somebody to come and send your company spiraling into bankruptcy. I'm not saying to hire somebody who's not qualified or give them the means of being trained, tell them the avenues to go, maybe to get trained to be qualified, so on and so forth. That's hatred for your own people. But what about now? Revelation 11 and 8. Again.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8.
Come on.
And their dead bodies.
Their what?
Their dead bodies.
Come on.
Shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
Spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So we dealt with Sodom. We'll touch on Egypt very briefly. Genesis 43 and 32. Genesis 43 and 32. So the spirit of Sodom is in this place and it's on many of us. Yes, we're not solely for homosexuality purpose or bestiality purposes, but for all the other attributes we read in Ezekiel chapter 16. The pride, the haughtiness, so on and so forth, right? Go ahead, read that now.
Genesis chapter 43, verse 32. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for that is an abomination unto the Egyptians.
So now, it's an abomination unto the Egyptians. So now, oftentimes, when you see brothers or sisters that don't want to fellowship, it's showing you that you have the spirit of the heathens on you. The same way we just went over the attributes of Sodom. Because why? Because the spirit of the Egyptians says it's an abomination to break bread with the Israelites. Hope you understand that. So we take on those spirits of spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. The real Egyptians said, I'm not eating with them. Today, you got brothers and sisters out there like, I'm not eating with them. Whose spirit you have on you? Who's bad? You have the spirit of Egypt on you because they didn't want to break bread with their brothers. But you daggone sure being past the pork chop church because what? They don't know that they're the Israelites. They don't know that. A lot of brothers, a lot of sisters will not come into the body, will forsake the assembly because they have that spirit of spiritual Egypt on them. I hope y'all understand that. Who doesn't understand? Don't understand, bro. Take my time. Okay. So, also, you have those too who just show up sporadically. You see them once every couple of months. Tim Robertson says me. Okay. All right, real quick. Go to Ezekiel 25 and 8. verse 8. I know there's some new brothers, new sisters. 25 minutes. New brothers, new sisters. Okay. I'll explain.
Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Thus saith the Lord God, because that Moab and Seir
is Esau, right?
do say,
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen.
So now, these are Israelites who act exactly like the heathens. All right? Israelites who act exactly like the heathens. You can't tell them apart. Just like during the Greek captivity, you had some that loved the glory of the Grecians best of all. You couldn't tell them any different from the Greeks besides maybe complexion. That's the only difference between them. Just like today, you have some of our people that the only difference between them and Esau is complexion. That's it. Complexion, that's the only difference between them. They act just like the heathens. So now, go back to Genesis 43 and 32.
Genesis chapter 43, verse 32.
Mm-hmm.
And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews.
So now, one of the ways our brothers and sisters act like the heathen is they don't want to break bread or assemble, congregate with the Israelites, the same way the Egyptians are heathens. Right. I'm gonna come when I get right. Exactly, sis. Exactly. Well, you ain't never gonna get right. But the thing is, many of our brothers and sisters not only have Esau's mindset, not only have Sodom's mindset, but they also have Egyptian mindset. And it's not just in Egyptology. It's them forsaking the assembly. The Egyptians never wanted to eat with the Jews. So sometimes when our people have that mindset, because they have the spirit of the heathen on them. All of us had it at one time. All of us had it, but through the laws of God, we are all working to purge those spirits off of us. Some of us bleached our skin. Some of us bald our heads. Some of us shaved off our beards. All of that's the heathen. That's not God. So we all act like the heathen, but to some, for many others, it's a greater extent. All right? Right. Okay, all praise. I'm glad you understand, sis. All praise. Leviticus 18 and 1. Leviticus 18 and 1.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 1.
Read to verse 8.
Yes, sir. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, I am the Lord your God. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do.
So now, one of the laws that God gave the children of Israel in the wilderness is that after the ways of the Egyptians, don't do what they do. For instance, remember, we were reintroduced to the laws while in the wilderness after leaving Egypt. So when you read Deuteronomy 22 and 5, a woman shouldn't wear pertains to a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. Guess what? Because in Egypt, we were wearing skirts. Women would wear things that pertain to men. So the Lord was like, listen, after the land of Egypt, the doings of Egypt, don't do it. Don't do it. Because guess what? That was abominable in my sight. So now I'm giving you the laws telling you, don't do that. Go ahead.
And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Ye shall do my judgments.
Now the Lord says, listen, you shall do his judgments. Don't do the Egyptian judgments. Don't follow their ways, their mindset. Do it according to as I am telling you this day. Go ahead.
And keep mine ordinances to walk.
Why? Because before we kept Egyptian ordinances. Before we kept Sodom ordinances. Hope you understand that. Go ahead.
To walk therein. I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord. None of you shall approach to any that is near of kin to him, to uncover their nakedness.
So now, what's something that was going on in Egypt? Brothers and sisters, fathers, cousins, all of that was laying together. So Most High is telling them, listen, you have to put a difference between that. Guess what? You can't lay with your close kin. You can't do that. Go ahead.
Verse 7, the nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother.
Ibhar and Peter, listen. How do you tell Esau and the Hebrews apart since they have the same hue? Mr. Scoffer Ibar, humble down. Humble down. If you want to listen, listen. But by no means am I going to entertain foolishness today. Not today. I got an extra hour of sleep. I'm feeling good. If I was groggy, I might have entertained you, but I'm not going to entertain you. Okay? Read that again.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 7. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness.
So now they were sleeping with their mothers. You see that? So these are things that we have the spirit of doing. Okay? These are the things that we do. Go ahead.
Verse 8. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover.
Our mother-in-laws. Go ahead.
It is thy father's nakedness.
So it gives you the sexual sins that were going on. And guess what? The sexual sins did not begin in Egypt. It was in Sodom, because when you read Genesis chapter 10, it was so-called Africans that inhabited the 5 cities of Sodom. Okay? It was not primarily our people, but it was Hamites. Ham primarily inhabited the cities of Sodom. So the sexual deviances that were in Egypt were also in Sodom. That's why Leviticus 18 goes into so much sexual sins, right? Jump to verse 20.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her.
So now, it says lay carnally, meaning just for sex, right? So one of the things that was going on was adultery, but it was just for release. It wasn't, for purposes of trying to make someone your wife. That was not the intent. Okay? So we have that today. We have brothers, we have sisters who are still legally married, but you've been separated for 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. You come into the truth, all of a sudden, you see somebody you like. You decide, okay, the smart thing to do is, I'm going to lay with that person. The two of you lay together. The two of you lay together. Read that again.
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife.
With your neighbor's wife. Because that brother or that sister is married to an Israelite. Still your neighbor. You're just more excellent than your neighbor. Because you have the understanding and they don't. Still your neighbor. It's your people. So now what you have is you'll have a brother who is still legally married, meaning he can't marry you. You have to get your divorce. Okay, you've been separated from that sister for 2 years. Okay, fine. Okay, you come into the truth by yourself. She's not even in the picture. Okay, I understand. But you are still legally married. Because when you give me Exodus 22, let me show y'all.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
So she's not betrothed, but you are still legally married. Go ahead.
And lie with her.
And you lie with her.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
How can that happen when you're still legally married? How can that happen? So what you have done is You have lied with the sister carnally because you only wanted to have sex with her. You have no intentions of marrying her because you cannot marry her. The divorce process is not something that happens overnight. It's a lengthy process. So, so some of you, listen, some of you brothers are deceitful as hell. I'm gonna tell you straight. Some of y'all are deceitful as hell. Some of y'all are attached to, though you separated, y'all went y'all separate ways, you're still legally married. You come in here and you don't even say anything. Until you lay with the sister, then you're like, oh, yeah, we went down to the courthouse to get married, but we can't because I'm still legally married. Negro, you didn't know that? How do you forget something like I am married to someone? You just don't forget that. It's not a daggone set of keys that you left somewhere. You actually stood before an officiant and was married. It's kind of one of those things you never forget. But you got slick talking Negroes that will listen, and some of you sisters got to stop being simple. But what it boils down to is you actually worship the phallus. You worship the obelisk. That is your God. You said, you know what? I know what God said, that if he lies with me, he has to marry me. I know he's married legally, but I'm still going to lie with him. Because listen, you're not here to serve the God of Israel. You are here to serve your God, the rod. I just made that up, by the way. Bars. I literally just made that up. Bars. I'm a problem in the booth. You come to serve your God, the rod. Period. That's what it boils down to, because you know he can't marry you, but you don't care. You wanted to get your rocks off, and now you're left high and dry to be the whore in Israel. That's what you're left with. Ezekiel 30. Start at verse 1.
Ezekiel.
And listen, I'm gonna copyright that line too. Don't try to steal it.
Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 1.
Come on.
The word of the Lord came again unto me.
Read to verse 5. Yes, sir.
Saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord God, how ye, woe worth the day, for the day is near, even the day of the Lord is near, a cloudy day. It shall be the time of the heathen, and the sword shall come upon Egypt, and great pain shall be in Ethiopia, when the slain shall fall in Egypt, and they shall take away her multitude, and her foundations shall be broken down. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia and all the mingled people and Chub and the men of the land that is in league shall fall with them by the sword.
So now, that's the point I wanted. Though that's verse 6. Verse 6. Read verse 5 and 6.
Verse 5. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia and all the mingled people.
You know, sis Toya said, under Moses, you would have got rocks on.
You bringing the bars out of people.
Yo, sis, put that in a line. That's a bar right there. You want to get your rocks off? The time of Moses, you would have got rocks on. Yeah, you're right. That's funny. Go ahead.
And the men of the land that is in league shall fall with them by the sword. Come on. Thus saith the Lord. They also that uphold Egypt that uphold Egypt.
So those who are in league and those that uphold all of these things that we're going over, go ahead.
Shall fall.
Shall what?
Shall fall.
Guess what? The destruction we read about in Sodom, we're reading the same thing when you in league or you uphold Egypt. Let's go into your Egyptologists, so on and so forth. That's what I usually use the scripture for. But in the vein of what we're talking about, and seeing the spirit that's in spiritual Egypt and the spirit in spiritual Sodom, it falls right in line. Read that again.
Ezekiel chapter 30, verse 5. Ethiopia and Libya and Lydia and all the mingled people and Chub and the men of the land that is in league.
That is what?
In league.
In league, in allegiance or alliance. Go ahead.
Shall fall with them.
Are going to fall with them. Go ahead.
By the sword. Thus saith the Lord. They also that uphold Egypt.
So those who uphold the ways of Egypt. We read in Leviticus chapter 18. It says, after the doings of the land of Egypt shall ye not do. But what you have is brothers, sisters who uphold the ways of Egypt. Egypt had woman worship. Egypt had the worship of the man's rod. And we have brothers and sisters today that still do the same thing. So yes, there is the spirit of Sodomites in Israel. There is the spirit of Egyptians in Israel. Because you uphold the ways of Sodom and the ways of Egypt. You shouldn't be like the heathens. The Lord made you separate from everybody else. He set you apart. That we can be accepted of him. But no. We want to uphold Egypt. We want to make allegiance with them and do as they did. And we wonder why we're on the bottom now. Right, having birthday. Right. Absolutely. Birthdays, worshiping different gods, so on and so forth. This is madness. It's straight madness. Proverbs 27 and 23. Proverbs 27 and 23.
Proverbs chapter 27, verse 23. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flock.
So now some of you feel like that we shouldn't be in your business. Read that again.
Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks.
Right, Sister Ahalia, yes, the oblique represents the penis, yes. So it says, be diligent to know the state of the flock. The flock is the congregation. It's our job to know what's going on in the body, because we had a brother who says, I don't need y'all in my business. I'm a man. No, you are a boy in a man's body. You are a boy in a man's body. And that's what we have. Give me that in Luke, was it 17 and 31? Or Luke 7:31. I'm sorry. Luke 7:31.
Luke chapter 7, verse 31. And the Lord said, whereunto shall I liken the men of this generation?
So what can I compare the men of this generation, the men that's walking before me this day? And as we're reading it, the men that's before us this day as well. Go ahead.
And to what are they like?
And what are they compared to?
They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace.
I'm a man. I don't have to tell you what I'm doing with the sister. I'm a man. No, you are a boy, Damon. Damon, you are a boy. Read it again.
They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace and calling one to another and saying.
And what? Encouraging one another. Go ahead.
And saying, we have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
And you have not danced. You have not danced to the tune that we're telling you, that I'm a man and I can make my own decisions. I don't need y'all. But the scripture says there's safety in the multitude of counsel. So now you're in the midst of being an adulterer, and you're able to make your own decisions. How you able to make your own decisions concerning your salvation when you have a Sodom spirit and an Egyptian spirit? It's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. Go ahead.
We have mourned to you, and ye have not wept.
Go to Job 13:13.
Job chapter 13, verse 13. Hold your peace. Let me alone, that I may speak, and let come on me what will.
So now Job is telling the elders that came to see him, but they're troubling and vexing his spirit. Jump to chapter 19. Let me show you. Job 19, it's like verse 3, I think. 2.
Job chapter 19, verse 2. How long will ye vex my soul and break me in pieces with words.
So Job told his the elders, he said, listen, leave me alone. Let me suffer what I'm going to suffer. Why? Because they were breaking him in pieces with words. They were making his situation worse. Not only was he going through physical anguish, but their words. Their words was making him feel even worse than he had to. Go to Sirach chapter 4. And verse 3.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 4, verse 3.
Come on.
Add no more trouble to an heart that is vexed.
It says, add no more trouble to a heart that's vexed. Job was vexed in the spirit. Job was, and I went over that class, I am Job. Job had all of these things going on with him. So what they did was they were adding more trouble unto a heart that was vexed. That's why in Job 13, he said, listen, just leave me alone. Let me suffer what I'm going to suffer. But the difference is, Job should have been left alone because Job was righteous. Job wasn't suffering for sin's sake. A lot of times, brothers and sisters, like, I don't want you in my business, yada, yada. It's not for righteousness' sake. It's because you want to cover your evil. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing. What you're going to end up doing is dying in your sin. Proverbs 28:13. Proverbs 28 and verse 13.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 13.
Come on.
He that covereth his sins shall not prosper.
So that's what many of you brothers and sisters want to do. You want to cover up your sins. Sisters want to cover up the fact that the rod is their God. Brothers want to cover up the fact that they worship the woman. That whoremonger spirit is idolatry, bro. That whorish spirit is idolatry because you're worshiping something other than God. That's it. Read it again.
Proverbs chapter 28, verse 13. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them,
confess and forsake, meaning turn away from, go ahead,
shall have mercy.
Shall have mercy from the Lord. Sirach 23, verse 16. But brothers and sisters want to cover up their sins, act like it's all good. And how's everything going? Oh, it's going good. It's always all good. Always all good. Wait.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 16. Two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. A hot mind is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched.
So a hot mind meaning someone who's easily angered, always in a disputing spirit. Go ahead.
Is as a burning fire. It will never be quenched till it be consumed.
Until it be consumed, right? Go ahead.
A fornicator.
A what?
A fornicator.
Because if you can't marry the sister, you're in the midst of fornication. If you laid with her just for carnal purposes, just to sleep with her, guess what? You are in the midst of fornication. Those are sexual sins. Go ahead.
In the body of his flesh will never cease till he hath kindled a fire.
So now it says he's not going to stop doing this until he's destroyed by the Most High. It's going to tell you that in the next verse. Go ahead.
Verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die.
So now remember, top of 16, it says two sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. Read that again.
All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die.
So all bread is sweet to a whoremonger. What's that whoremonger going to do? Read.
A man that breaketh wedlock.
A man that breaketh wedlock. How is he a whoremonger? Because he breaks wedlock. Go back to Exodus 22 and 16. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Exodus chapter 22.
And you know what I wonder? Sometimes I scratch my head and I think to myself, I say, self, if you're in a so-called multiple wives, which is multiple whores camp, what would define a whoremonger if you could marry everybody?
What's up, sir?
How? I guess that would never apply to anybody. You couldn't be a whoremonger. That's funny. So that means there's no whoremongers in that camp. Or camps with an S, with a Z. Camps with a Z. There couldn't be any whoremongers. Well, something to make you say, right? So if there's judgments against whoremongers, but you're somewhere saying there can't be any whoremongers because I can take on as many as I want, then you might as well just rip that or take a black highlight and scratch out every scripture about whoremongers. Well, what do I know? Read that again.
Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
It says he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Surely. So let's go back to Ecclesiasticus chapter 23. Read verse 17 and 18.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die.
He will not stop sleeping around until he dies. Go ahead.
A man that breaketh wedlock.
Why is it that he breaks wedlock when he's a whoremonger? Because the first sister he laid with is who he should have married. So now when he continues to lay with woman after woman after woman after woman, what he's doing is he's actually breaking wedlock. He's an adulterer. Daggone! I tell you.
I gotta find that bomb.
Yeah, you see. You understand? I don't know. I don't know. How you gonna break wedlock? Because you're sleeping around. Read it again. So remember, it says, top of verse 16 says, 2 sorts of men multiply sin, and the third will bring wrath. Will bring wrath. Yeah, read it again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 23, verse 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger.
Come on.
He will not leave off till he die.
He will not stop being a whoremonger until he dies. Like, even to the point where you have itching ears and follow people who teach that you can be a whoremonger by the word of God. I tell you. Woo! Continue to read.
A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, who seeth me?
So the man, he says, who sees me? Go ahead.
I am compassed about with darkness. The walls cover me, and nobody seeth me.
And nobody sees him. Go ahead.
What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins.
See, now remember, what I want you to remember is we went over Sodom. One of those things was pride and haughtiness. That's one of those things. So now what we're seeing is that same spirit again. Who sees me? But I thought the Most High sees everything. As we're going to read down, we'll see that. But in your mind, you're like, nobody sees when I'm about to lay with the third, fourth, and fifth. So let me give you an example. Did I give you an example here? Or it was an early class. There was a brother who was with us. And to show you how heavy that whoremonger spirit and how it is idolatry. Remember, it says 2 sorts of men multiply sin, meaning these sins that we're reading about, these Sodomite sins, these Egyptian sins, so on and so forth, they multiply. It starts out with 1, but it turns to 2 and 3 and 4, so on and so forth. So there was a brother who was with us, and one day we're sitting it's our first school. We're sitting in the school, we're talking, and he had mentioned some things about a relationship he was in, so on and so forth. And he was dealing with some stuff, so to speak. He claims he didn't believe he wanted to move on to somebody else. Like, hey, bro, you can't do that. Correcting the brother, right? So one night we're sitting at the school. Our sister opens the door and walks in. This is after class. We're all just hanging out. Sister walks in with spandex on, and like, what the hell? So we're thinking, we had a storefront. We're thinking she opened the wrong door. Surely she's not coming here. It was late. It was after class. It might have been around 11 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock. Surely she's at the wrong door. This brother jumps up, was Speedy Gonzalez. Runs to the door. He puts his hand around. He starts talking to let's go outside. Let's go outside. We're like, hey, hold up. Hold the hell up. You know her? Yeah, this is the sister I was telling y'all about. You know, she does this, that, and the third. Why did she show up here? Because the brother had been lying the whole time to her. He slept with her, then told her afterwards she was an Israelite, right? Never wanted to marry her. He said she didn't want to get married. She didn't want to do this, whatever the case may be. He was lying. Dealt with him on that. Time goes on, short time. He's telling us a story how that same sister was upset because she came and found a sister at his house. Like we're Boo Boo the Fool. He says, you know how they sell the teas? You know, they have those groups that sell the gold pack teas and all of that stuff. So he said, oh yeah, she was only there to sell me tea. What the hell? So wait a minute. So you a brother. You let a sister come to your house, tease, just you and her. Well, there was something brewing, all right. We're not retarded. So we dealt with him on that. Brother was getting put out, so on and so forth for whoremongering, right? Then come to find out he actually sleeps with a sister in another state, in the congregation, in another state. She gets pregnant. He tells her to have an abortion. And guess when we found out about that? When he told her to have an abortion. Not when they had sex. Not when he approached her. None of that. It's when it hit the fan and you realize that he don't give two daggons about you. All of a sudden, now you feel the confessional corner is necessary. I tell you, we can't be simple our entire lives. Please don't be simple your entire life. Luke 16 and 15. I tell you. Our people, man. Yeah, you just got to shake your head. Just, what you going to do? What you going to do? Go ahead.
Luke chapter 16, verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God.
So now, there are some things that are highly esteemed among men. Like, let me give you an example. Like when we're in the world, brothers, it was highly esteemed among us to sleep with a bunch of women. It was highly esteemed. If you didn't have a lot of women, you were lame or square or whatever the case may be, right? You would go out with your boys, see how many numbers you can get. Y'all would compare who got more numbers, which girl was good looking, which one was ugly, and you better call that one, so on and so forth. That was highly esteemed among us. Sisters, it was highly esteemed for you when your big mama or your mother or your homegirls would tell you there's more fish in the sea. So sexual deviance is highly esteemed among us, and we come into the truth with that same spirit. It is highly esteemed. So, I went over this the other day in the Monday class, marriage material. Some of you, the way you show your deviance is because you don't reach out to those camp leaders. You don't reach out to anyone in position in order to help guide you with someone you're interested in or someone that's interested in you. When we hear about it, is after y'all did what y'all did y'all got your rocks off. I hope y'all understand that. If you really was sincere about marriage, or the brother is really sincere about you, he would, even if he contacts you to find out who's your leadership, what state you're in, because I'm interested. Okay, my officer is this, my captain is this, my deacon is this, here's his information. I look forward to hearing from him. There's nothing wrong with that, because he might not know what state you're in. Not everybody has this information on their Facebook or their Instagram, so on and so forth. So he might reach out to you to say, who's your leadership, because I'm interested. I want to contact your leadership. and I won't contact you again until I deal with your fathers. Those are your fathers. And vice versa. Sister's interested. I'm interested in such and such, but I want to go about it the right way. Or tell your leadership will. That's happened before. A sister told her leadership she was interested in somebody. That leadership reached out to get a report of the brother because that's his daughter. So he want to make sure he's not hooking his daughter up with a Negro. Vice versa. If a brother here is our son, I'm not going to give him to no demon. We have to care about the flock. The scripture says to care about the flock. But some of y'all, you've never had anybody care about you in your entire life. So this, what we're saying, is foreign. Foreign to you. Because your mother didn't give a damn about you, your pastor don't give a damn about you, your family don't give a damn about you, and you automatically think that we here are not supposed to give a damn about you. Read that again.
Luke chapter 16, verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God.
So that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination in the sight of God. So these sexual deviances are abomination to God. Colossians 3 and 5.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 5.
Come on.
Mortify therefore your members.
So mortify your members. When something is causing you to sin, it tells you to separate from it. Cut it off. Go ahead.
Which are upon the earth. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
Which is idolatry. Last time I checked, idolatry is an abomination to God. But wait. Read it from the top again. Maybe I'm missing something.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Mortify therefore your members.
Tanya Meyer says, so where do engagement come from? Engagement in the sense of, but the Bible doesn't call it engagement. It's called betrothal. And your betrothed means you're promised to someone else. Today, that's what you probably would consider being engaged. But the Bible calls it betrothed. You're promised to someone. Okay? Go ahead, read it again.
Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Mortify therefore your members, which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
Which is idolatry. That which is esteemed among men is an abomination unto the Lord, which is idolatry. But one of those things was fornication. The Bible says fornication is actually idolatry. I'm sorry. I don't know. So when you lay with the sister that you can't marry, or lay with this sister, lay with that sister, so on and so forth, you can't marry them. You can't have marriage papers with every single one of them. Right. Somebody got to be the whore. Somebody the side chick. And then most times in these camps, they all live in different places. Wait a minute. I'm confused. I thought in Matthew chapter 19, it says that your wife come unto you. Actually, let me read it. Let's read it. I'm sorry. I don't want to go off the deep end. Start at verse 5. Let me look at verse 5. Is it verse 5 I want? Okay, yeah, read that. 5 and 6.
Matthew chapter 19, verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God had joined together, what God had joined together,
separately.
Joined together, let no man put asunder.
It says, let no man separate. So God joined y'all together, but you separate. I'm so confused. I don't know. Stacy, a little off topic, but what about age differences between a husband and a wife? It depends on how big the age difference, because Amos chapter 3 goes very heavy. It says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? When there's too large of an age difference, too large, your minds are in two different places. Yes, you're both talking about keeping the commandments, so on and so forth. But guess what? 1 Corinthians chapter 7 tells you not to defraud one another. Because I'm going to be frank, sex plays a very big part in a marriage. Okay? When you are 50 and your wife is 20, she gonna kill you. She is going to put you in a coffin. Because you good with once every 3 weeks. She wanted every day. What in the hell are you gonna do? Now that's when all manners of evil start. You turn into a voyeur, start making your wife have sex with other people so she can be pleased because you tired of hearing her complain. Or you bring up false accusations saying she committed adultery just to get rid of her, so on and so forth. Listen, you better be mindful of that. You 50 years old, brother, look for somebody about no younger than like 44. I've seen a bigger age difference, and I've warned brothers, she gonna kill you. She's gonna kill you. And then what you end up having is you have issues. He's always tired. I want to do this. I want to go jog. I want him to come with me, support me, yada yada. But all you want to do is rub some Ben Gay on you because you've been hurting and go to sleep. So that age, be very, very mindful of that. I'm not saying you can't have an age difference of some sort, but the larger the age difference, there's gonna be some issues. Where did I have you?
Matthew 19.
Oh, let's go back. Let's go to Colossians 3 and 5, right?
Colossians chapter 3, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
So these sins are idolatry. These are the things that are abominable to the Lord. So fornication is idolatry, because what you did was you esteemed sex over the Most High God. You esteemed your pleasures, your desires over the Most High God. Most High said, listen, if he lay with you, look, y'all better get married. You say, I'm already married in the world, so I'm going to lay with her, but I can't marry her. You've turned the sister into a whore. You've turned her into a whore. I'm telling y'all, and some, you know what some of y'all do too? I'm going to tell y'all. Some of y'all be on social media sporting, taking all kind of photos with people that you have not married. I don't want to go back on the marriage thing, but so here's the thing. If it does not work out between you two, nothing happened. Y'all didn't lay together, right? Nothing happened. But now, only thing I can remember is you in pictures for the last 3 Passovers with somebody, or the last, every feast day, y'all hugged up, pictures of y'all taking pictures together, y'all dressing alike. Then all of a sudden, y'all not talking or anymore, approving or whatever the case may be. So now, let's say I'm a single brother. I might be interested in the sister, but what's going to be in my mind is she was always hugged up with you. That's just me. That's just me. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I think that was Ham, Sister Mo. I saw that. Dude was like 117, and his wife, and he was sitting with this smile. His joint looked like, I'm sorry, I ain't gonna go there. That's not right. I won't say that. He said the 3 G's. You 40, bro. Real quick, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 1. 2 Kings chapter 1. Because here's something that many brothers and sisters risk. You know the risk before you lay down with them, but yet you don't see the greater risk. Verse 1 to verse 4.
2 Kings chapter 1, verse 1. Then Moab...
Actually, no, we're going to read most of this, but keep reading.
Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber. Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria, and was sick. And he sent messengers and said unto them, Go inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron.
Wait. So we have an Israelite king that wanted his servants to go and inquire or get answer from another god, just like today. Our brothers and sisters know the Bible, you know the scriptures, but you take counsel from mini-me. Brothers, you know what I mean, the other head. That is your God. That is your God. You seek counsel from him. Or sisters, you seek counsel from little girl downstairs. Because what? That is more pressing. That's in more demand than feeding the spiritual man or the spiritual woman. So you go get inquiry. You inquire of another God. You're not going into the Bible and saying, you know what? The Lord says, talks about fornication being idolatry. I know I can't marry this man, but so what I'm going to do is one of two things. I'm going to go with what her vagina, she's going to go with her vagina saying that she wants it, or she's going to go with what God says. Only two ways. And what I'm seeing too much in Israel is brothers and sisters being led by their sexual deviances. Go ahead.
Verse 3. But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah, the Tishbite, Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, Is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that ye go to inquire of Beelzebub, the god of Ekron?
So now, is it not because we don't know who the one true God is, that we don't know he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, is the reason why you're actually consulting with your rod or consulting with your box down there, sisters? Is that the reason you're taking counsel from that? Is that the reason why your fleshly desires have superseded what God has said? It's not because there's no true God. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Now, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed.
So the prophet came and said, look, because you're inquiring of another God, it says you shall surely die. We've been reading about the sins of Sodom, which was worthy of destruction, sins of Egypt, which are worthy of destruction. And it's showing that brothers today have that same spirit, and the Bible says you're worthy to die. I hope y'all understand that. Worthy to die. But let's see if it's only physical death. Proverbs 21:16.
Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16.
Come on.
The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
So now, some of you have never considered, sister, I'm talking probably to you sisters, because you don't realize sometimes the position you put yourselves in. The brother, let's say he's attached to another woman, as far as being legally married, or he was already betrothed to somebody else, so on and so forth. What you end up doing is, if he leaves this truth, you're still stuck with that badge of dishonor. So not only is you can be physically dead, but he can actually fall out and you're stuck with that stain upon you. I hope y'all understand that. And vice versa. Brothers, some of you, because you think with the other head, you make decisions. Hold on, y'all. You make certain decisions and get with the sister despite being told not to, despite being told she's from another camp and attached to somebody else, but she's just so beautiful. So wait a minute. So then you don't give a damn about you committing adultery, because what you did was you put your rod over Most High's commandments. I hope y'all understand that. You put your rod above the commandments of God. And God said that is an abomination. We never consider that your sexual deviances or your lusts can put you in that position where a person can fall out or you are worthy of death. Hey, Daniel, all praise, good scripture. Tobit 8 and 7, yes, that we grow age together. All praises. Good script, yes, showing that the age was similar, so they got old together. Not one was old and one was young. All praises. Thank you for that script, bro. That was good. So read. I'm gonna jump ahead. Let me just finish it with the last scripture. Go to 1 Corinthians 6 and 9. I was gonna read the whole 2 Kings 1, but we'll jump ahead.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9.
Come on.
Now know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall enter the kingdom of God.
Now, what's very important is it mentioned fornicators, mentioned idolaters, all of these things that we read earlier. All of these things are abominations to the Lord. And what we end up doing is we think that God doesn't see us when we're in the dark, in the twilight of the night. We think Most High doesn't see our deviances. Most High doesn't see our pride, doesn't see our haughtiness, doesn't see us walking in the way of the Egyptians with all kind of sexual deviances as well. We think we're good. But read that one more time.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
Shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So when you think with your male and female reproductives, what you do is you jeopardize your right to the tree of life. All right. Some of us, we think that you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do all this wickedness, and on my deathbed, I'm asking the Lord to forgive me, and I'm good. Come on, man. You're right. You erasing your name out of the book of life, man. Hope you know that. But all right, I'm gonna end it there, y'all. Any questions pertaining to class? Any questions pertaining to class? I'm ending a little bit early because sometimes questions come about and it takes a bit long, and I feel funny sometimes not answering some questions, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Thank y'all putting up with me another day, another early morning. Early morning. Let's probably hear sound effects. praise to the Most High. Sister Basia, Sister Jamila, Asada, Shifra Judah, all praises. Michaela, sorry. Any questions pertaining to class? I mean, I'll take. Can you be intimate in engagement? Meaning, before you're married, when you're just promised, that's it. I feel like I'm being set up. It's a can of worms. No. How about y'all? How about y'all do this? Hold on. Bear with me a second. I'm gonna get to chapter 6. Bear me 1 second. That's a can of worms right there. See, we could slap nasties and do all kind of. Bear me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, go to Tobit chapter 7 and verse 13.
Tobit chapter 7, verse 13. Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father, and he took her by the hand and gave her to be wife to Tobias, saying, Behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to thy father. And he blessed them, and called Edna his wife, and took paper, and did write an instrument of covenants, and sealed it.
So now, this is after the marriage papers. This is after they have been, the father actually approved of the marriage, so on and so forth. Now jump down to chapter 8, verse 4.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 4. And after that, they were both shut in together. Tobias rose out of the bed.
Where were they shut in together? In the marriage chamber. They were together after they had gotten their marriage performed, right? It says, then they rose out of the bed, meaning that's when they laid together, after they were married, all right? Is that right there? Can you intimate? I can see it now. I can see this place turning into the biggest whorehouse, because everybody said, well, Captain Shemiah said, licking ain't sin. You lick it, you bought it. All praises, Sister Salah, Sister Das, all praises. Not saying, because it could, listen, Sister Shana, Shalom, all the way in, I think is it Barbados, one of the two. But all praise to the Most High. Good to see you. Not saying that someone can't message you, but it should be, you should be rerouting them. Okay? You should be rerouting them. You shouldn't really sit there entertained, because then you become smitten. Now, hey, let me tell you something. Brothers got game. Brothers got game. I watch these Pan-African Israelites talking about, oh, my beautiful queen. Oh man, I don't know who, I forgot what sister it was, but I'm on her page, and she accepted someone's friend request, and the dude wrote a paragraph on her page. OMG. I'm like, is she gonna fall for this BS? He was like, oh, my beautiful honeysuckle, honeydew queen from Ashdod. I don't know. I'm looking like, you got to be kidding me. But some brothers, some got game, man. Some got game. So you should be very, very mindful of that. If the person is hitting you, it should be for those purposes. Like, okay, can you kind of have your leadership's contact? And then also too, it kind of shows you a sense that the person is not trying to be underhanded. It shows the spirit of. Hold on a second. Shalom, Captain REA. How are you, sir? Most High in Christ bless. These brothers, I don't. Hey, bro. Hey, brother, I'm in the middle of daily bread. You want daily bread, man? You want to say shalom to the people? You want to say shalom? Hold on, let me put you on speaker. Hold on. Captain REA, go ahead.
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. I apologize for disturbing your class. I just want to celebrate because I got my name changed today.
Hey, welcome to the family. Hold on.
Yo, Cap, you stupid. Okay, so he's official. He's official. Okay, all praise to the Most High, man. Yeah, I hit you back in a minute. I'm about to finish. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless you, man. Congrats, man. So, no longer does Captain REA have a Coon Jenkins name, but he is officially Israel.
That's right.
Welcome to the family, brother. Give Captain REA a round of applause. All praise to the Most High. All praises. Oh, man. Oh, that's how Edomites say my name? Damn, sister called me Esau. Damn. You vicious, sis. Damn. She cut me deep. I'm sorry. I went to public school. Please forgive me. I can't read too well. To Judith, Kathy, to my saints, our doctrine. All praise, Sister Judith. Shalom. Damn. What just happened? Yo, bro, that's why I can't deal with your Mac, bro. I'm separated and my wife slept around. Can going back be right? Oh my Lord. Hey, forgive me, y'all. I was reading some comments and the thing jumped. Jeremiah chapter 3. Brother asks, can you go back? Hey, I know I joke around and I say certain things, but I'm dead serious. Listen, if your wife is wicked enough to cheat on a son of God, why would you want to go wallow back in that filth? You are a son of the living God. And I'm going to say this too before we finish. Some of you brothers, I'm going to say this. Some of you brothers are put sisters in the spirit of overly catering to them. I'm going to say that again. That was a part of Egypt, the woman worship. And I said it goes on today. Some of you brothers, let's say when you want to prove a sister, you guys are talking, so on, and getting to know each other. Let's say she's out of state. You travel to her state. You meet her spiritual fathers, so on and so forth. You never instruct the sister to come meet your fathers. That's what you're doing. You're showing that sister that you're always going to cater to her. Man, listen, she is made for you. You are the son of the living God. You are the glory of God. She is the glory of you. Y'all brothers need to get that Keith Sweat spirit off of y'all, man. Get that damn Ralph Tresvant. Some of y'all might be too young for that. Let me get somebody else. Who else? Who's newer? Usher.
Trey Songz.
Yeah, you got a Trey Songz spirit. How you Trey Songz Ben Israel? What the hell wrong with you? Listen, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go more frequently. I'm not saying that. But listen, you brothers, you dealing with a sister in another state, you better, and listen, sis, at some point, you got to come meet my fathers. At some point, come and see the congregation, so on and so on. What the hell wrong with y'all? You always going. Then when the sister come, You realize that she can't get along with other sisters, so on and so forth. Well, you never brought her around the sisters here. That's your fault. And I ain't talking about you buying her ticket either. Don't be no daggone simp, daggone sugar lord. I'm sorry, I just thought of that. But real quick, Jeremiah 3:1.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
That land is polluted because your wife was the land that the seed was planted in. So it says the land is polluted. She is polluted because she lay with another man, right? Go ahead.
But thou hast played the harlot.
But you have played the harlot. Go ahead.
With many lovers.
With many lovers. It's talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi playing harlot because we started to go off into idolatry with other gods, right? Go ahead.
Yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
But yet you return unto me, saith the Lord. Jump to verse 20.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 20. Surely as a wife treacherously departed from her husband, so have ye dealt treacherously with me, O house of Israel.
So now it tells you that when a wife departs from her husband and lays with another man, that's a treacherous act. It's a treacherous act. Same way we departed from the Lord. So should you go back to a land that's polluted? That doesn't even make sense. Hope that answers your question, bro. Can soul ties be broken? I have no idea what that is, Sister Renee. I don't know what soul ties are.
That's Christianity.
What's that?
When you lay with somebody, they say your soul ties with that person. So when you separate.
So Matthew 19, two flesh become one. Oh, I wouldn't call it no soul. It sounds like a damn neo soul song. Like a music soul child should be singing it or something. But it says two flesh become one. So guess what? When you lay with that person, according to God, must become your wife. Your wife. Period. I don't know what that meant, Sister Toya. Everybody's giving. It's Captain R8. Applause. All praises. Can't wait to get my name changed. All praises. I said praises. All praises. And listen, the name change in some states is mad cheap. I think Alabama is like $25. Some places a couple hundred, but it's a process. It's a process, and that comes with faith as well. Increase in faith, because a lot of times you've been called Negro Tyrone for so long, you can't see yourself being called something else. You can't be seen called the Son of God. And ask the Lord to increase your faith, man. Because guess what? You're going to get a lot of questions. Some of them you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're at work. You've been at this job for 10 years, and they know you as Craig. All of a sudden, you come in there as Sirach Ben Israel. They're like, what the hell? What's a Sirach? What is that? Is that the drink that Puffy does?
Disrespect.
Mad. There'll be this. I remember one time a coworker asked me, he said, well, what does your parents think? So I don't give a damn what my parents think. The hell wrong with you? So I'm a grown ass man. What the hell I look like going to ask my parents permission to change my damn name? My own house, my own family. And I'm asking my parents. And he looked at me like, damn, that makes sense. A grown ass man. I asked my parents for them. I'm looking at him, and he's older than me. He's like early 50s, talking about ask your parents. It's like, shut up. Give me Numbers chapter 1. Please.
Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
By the house of their fathers. The seed determines what that child is. Okay, it has nothing to do with the mother because children take on the mother's attributes or so on and so forth, does not change what that child is or what that seed is. Oftentimes, for instance, we talk about complexion. Complexion goes only but so far. Bob Marley is an Edomite. Bob Marley took on the complexion of his mother. His father is white. Lenny Kravitz goes but so far. His mother's complexion is a dark woman. His father's is white. That's no matter how you slice it. It's all about the seed of the fathers. We don't really deal with complexion. It's not about complexion. Okay? It's about the seed. The seed is Esau's. That's it. Yeah, I'll cook your dinner, right? That baby face spirit. Yeah. Hey, all I can do is give you the scripts. If you go back, it's on you, but I'm glad to hear you say you're not. KY is cheap too. The hell? What did I say about KY? Did I miss something?
I hope that's Kansas City.
Kentucky. No, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh, sis. For a second, I said, what the hell? Where
did I say?
Where did the class just go? KY is cheap too. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, the sister's in Kentucky. Shalom, sis. Most High Christ bless. Ah, man. Hey, shalom, Elion. Is that Elion from Detroit? Shalom, sis. Hey, 500. Crazy. Yeah, because some states have package deal. Georgia, it's individual. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about your own deal. Bam, individual. Yeah. All praise. Shalom, sis. Oh yeah, look, she said cost for a name change in KY is cheap too. So then why you ain't got more brothers in Kentucky with name changes then? Hey, I'm coming up there soon. Don't let me get on them brothers. Scary. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I thought the custom of Israel is for the man or husband to find the wife. Oh, you mean you're saying if a sister is interested? Simone, is that what you're referring to? It wasn't. Hey, listen, it wasn't. It was a custom for prearranged marriages as well. Okay, and the thing is, where we are, and I always say this captivity is the worst captivity. You have Willie Lynch who has reversed the roles, so on and so forth. I'm not talking about if a brother's standing there sipping a drink, she walk up and smack him on the behind and say, yeah, I want that. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about if a sister is interested, there's nothing wrong with a sister saying she's interested in a brother. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's $40. Yeah, for all of y'all, that's $25, $30, $40 do a name change. All praises. All praises, sis. She's like, listen, when you come blasting about that name in Kentucky, I'm not involved. All praises. Sis, if a sister's interested in a brother, listen, you better let your leadership know. Before Boaz slipped past your ass. Nah, I was on a church marquee. One of the things I posted in the Patient Saints. He said, "Why?" He said, "Why does Boaz want your ass?" Oh, that thing was funny. Oh man. Sister Yazel, is that 10 euros? You know, I don't speak. Yeah, I guess that's euros. 10 euros. I don't know how much that is. Sister Vita. So here's the thing. If y'all lay, this is what the whole class was about. If y'all lay together, you are unable to marry him. A lot of times, some of y'all think y'all stronger than lust. Y'all super Israelites. Listen, y'all present the right time, the right opportunity, the right lighting, and it's going down. And now what? You can't even get married. That's madness. That's madness. I don't care if y'all came in or not. Oh, you're Indiana. Okay, all praises. Six name. I paid $68 a piece for me. In Georgia, it's about 300, 290, something like that. That's madness. Right, exactly. Close one door before you open another, right? All right, so okay. It could be Sister Jojo, it could be either or. It can be like I said, if you know where the brother is, you can reach out to them, ask about him. That happens here in Atlanta, you know, it happens quite a bit. You get people reach out about the brothers here in Atlanta, so on and so forth. And we'll give the sister an honest report, and we'll tell. Let's say a sister reaches out here, we talk to her, we tell her what's going on with the brother, if he's talking to somebody or not, and then I might say, okay, sis, since you got the report, I'll be looking forward to hearing from your leadership as well. Meaning, it's not backdoor. She's willing to tell her leadership as well, because when her leadership contacts us, then we'll. In the meantime, I might mention it to the brother, might not, but because the brother might not be ready, so on and so forth. I'll tell a person that contacts me, that brother's not ready yet, or the sister, she's talking to somebody, or whatever the case may be. So if a sister contacts us or go through her leadership, either one. But at some point, you should make it known to your leadership. You should. That's the key word. Should. Because I went over that on Monday about getting a report in 3rd John chapter. 3rd John, I forgot what verse. But about getting a report. So verse 1, then you jump to like verse 10 about getting a report. So from the elder. Actually, let's get to it. I don't want to jack it up. 3rd John. I got you. Verse 12. Read verse 1 first. So.
3rd John, verse 1. The elder unto the well-beloved Gaius, whom I love in the truth. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper.
Jump to verse 12 now.
Verse 12. Demetrius hath good report of all men and of the truth itself. Yea, and we also bear record, and ye know that our record is true.
So now we have report of these brothers, we have report of sisters that we'll share with someone who's interested. And like I said, at some point, leadership should be involved, because if you call, let's say a single brother, let's say you call about Officer Yuri, or you speak to Officer Yuri directly, do you think Officer Yuri is going to give you certain information if he's trying to cover up? No, we're the ones we don't give a damn if he's upset or not. We're gonna say, listen, this brother got this going on, that, especially if it's leadership. If it's the sister, I'll keep it very vague. But mainly the brother's not ready, or say, yes, he is looking for marriage, and he's he has his stuff together. Would you like me to let him know who you are, or what's going on, stuff like that. All right. Hopefully that answers your question. Samuel Levi, Is it required to have your own place before marriage, or can it be done after? It depends. You're supposed to have it before marriage. But let's say, for instance, you have a roommate to save money. You're ready to buy your own house at the end of the year, so on and so forth. It's really by case, but you should have your own place. But if it's something like that, you have a roommate and you guys just living together because you want to save money, you both plan on buying a house, so on and so forth. It's a little gray area that we can deal with, but for the most part, yes, you should have your own house. Marry in another camp. What? Did I miss that, Ciroc? Soldier Ciroc? I think I did. Yeah, in Sister Anika, in New York, I think it's they have a family package for like $500 if it's you and your family. But New York is about $300 individually. Somebody said about marrying another camp. Go to Amos 3. I quoted it earlier. In verse 3.
Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Can two walk together except they be agreed? So you're in another camp. One says you have to call on the name Yahweh Shai. They believe in multiple marriages, so on and so forth. So one of you two are gonna have to compromise. And if you're the wife, that means you. So you'll marry into a brother who believes in multiple wives, or he says he doesn't, but he follows one of those multiple wife camps. Be okay. Meaning, at some point, you're gonna be wife number 4. But I'm gonna end it there, y'all. I pray class was edifying. I pray brothers and sisters learned something. In Lord's will, Most High spare our lives. We'll see you on Monday. But tune in tomorrow. I believe it's Bishop Kanai tomorrow. Captain Oshai on Friday. Captain Uzziah on Sunday, or Captain Isaac. But make sure to tune into Daily Bread every day. And I pray Most High God bless you all, your houses. I pray Most High keep you all, strengthen you all, that we continue to fight the good fight. All right, Israel. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.